October 2023 and Rishi Sunak's Conservative government launches an emergency release programme to ease prison overcrowding. July 2024 and it's the brand new Labour government announcing more releases, the then Lord Chancellor Shabana Mahmood saying jails are so full they're on the point of collapse. Both schemes exclude prisoners serving time for certain crimes such as serious violence and sex offences. That October, the government asked former Conservative Justice Secretary David Gauke to lead a review to find a longer-term solution. The review calls for all but the most serious offenders to be released at an earlier point in their sentence, some after serving just a third, others half. Crucially, these releases could include many domestic and sexual abusers. The review leads to a new sentencing bill. In the autumn, the Conservatives try to amend the bill to exclude offences such as rape or grooming, but it's voted down and the bill later becomes law. Then last month, thousands of victims are sent letters warning their attackers may be released. By early July, the likely next Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, is said to be alarmed by the plans. With me now are three women who have all received letters saying their perpetrators could be let out of prison early. Sarah Wilson was groomed and sexually abused as a child by a group of men in Rotherham. One was only sentenced 4 months ago to 20 years, but could still be among offenders having their time in jail cut. Carol Higgins waited 35 years for her father to be sentenced for repeatedly sexually abusing her as a teenager. He will serve much less than that. And finally, Jade Belgrove has led an online petition which now has over 60,000 signatories in an attempt to stop perpetrators like her childhood rapist from being released early. Thanks all so much for coming in. I want to begin by asking you, you've all received the early letters that say your perpetrators may be part of this early release programme. You will find out for sure in August. I wonder what the next few weeks are going to be like.
I feel like I'm living a nightmare, waiting to see whether he's going to be released or not. The shock of receiving that letter triggered lots of thoughts and emotions.
Sarah, the next few weeks for you?
It's already reliving a nightmare. I am absolutely petrified.
Because you were prepared for, at whatever point he was going to be released, you're frightened of him?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I'm scared for my life and I'm scared for the repercussions that they will inflict upon me and my family.
And Jade?
Every day at the moment, I'm just consumed by it, consumed by fear, anxiety. I feel like I did when it first happened to me, going through the trial.
Even though people are told, you know, it's not for definite, you're being sent these letters just as a sort of early warning, women have told us they're already moving out of their house or they're already locking themselves in their home because of that fear. You clearly all understand that.
It shouldn't have even been thought about. You know, these are some of the most dangerous predators that we have in our country.
I wonder how they're going to decide who are the most dangerous prisoners, because what's more dangerous than a father raping his daughter?
And as you say, I mean, the government have, one of the things they've tried to say is that offenders who a judge has deemed to be the most dangerous will be automatically blocked. Now, I know all three of you think your perpetrators should be considered too dangerous to be released.
They are too dangerous. My perpetrator sat and planned, and it was shown in court. He wrote an A4 document of ways to get to me and ways to manipulate my family, and now he gets 3 years, if that.
If they're going to let him out, at least question him and say, are you sorry? Do you actually acknowledge what you've done now? Because my dad took me through the trial and denied and said that he was not guilty all the way through. Now, if he'd turned around and said to him, well, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, and admit, but he's still calling me a liar.
Yeah, mine's the exact same. He denied it the whole time.
Is yours still calling you a liar?
Same.
So they're not... how can they be rehabilitated when they're not admitting what the crimes they've done is wrong?
Yeah. Exactly, and, you know, it's all premeditated. What they did was all premeditated.
It was.
They picked a target, they picked a vulnerable target, and they took advantage and abused.
You were 11 when it started.
I was 11 when it started, yes. I was a vulnerable child. I was bullied at school. And I was targeted because of that.
All three of you have been brave, have stepped forward, have gone into the justice system looking for justice.
The reason why is because I don't want any other child to ever have to go through what we went through. That's why I speak out.
My life has been consumed and took a whole different path because of what happened to me, and the thought of it happening to someone else breaks my heart.
What message is it sending out to future victims and survivors? You know, you go through a court process, you go through any kind of abuse, and you go through the court process, and then after they're only going to get a slap on the wrist. Some people are fighting longer for justice than what some of these men will serve. Where's the justice in that?
Children aren't going to come forward.
No, they're not. No, they're not. And I understand why, if this goes forward.
One of the things that the government has said, again, is that offenders will be under intensive scrutiny. There will be a massive rise in tagging.
The probation service already doesn't work. We already know of all the tagging and things that we hear in the media at the moment. It's already broken. Like, the money that they're planning to put into this, why can't you put it into keeping these men and criminals and the worst type of people where they should be, where we were promised in court of law they would be?
What do you make of the fact that they have decided that they have to push ahead with this anyway, even though the government acknowledges problems with the tagging system? Why do you think they've done it?
They've made this decision and they know it's wrong because they can't answer our questions. We've sat in Parliament and not one question was answered. Again, it's tit for tat with previous governments. It's not about politics for us. I don't think any of us are sat here.
We're talking about real life.
And they're quite clear, aren't they? There is a massive crisis in prisons. There's an overcrowding crisis.
They're not going to let terrorists out, but yet we've been terrorised. Well, I've been terrorised from birth, and we've all been terrorised.
Yeah.
Carol, you talk about your father. He was sentenced to 20 years for what he'd done to you. The judge said, I'm aware the overall sentence of 20 years is a long sentence for a man of 71, but that the depravity of what he had done meant that the sentence was right. Now the system seems to suggest that sentence wasn't right.
For it to say that he'll be out after 6 years, that's not justice at all.
No.
How much does that hurt?
It hurts a lot. It makes me feel as little and worthless as he made me feel. And I don't want to feel like that. I'm a strong woman. I'm a survivor. And I don't like feeling like this. It makes me feel like he's laughing because that's what he's making me feel like.
That's exactly how I'd have dreams of just imagining my perpetrator smug and knowing that he's won all over again, because that's how I feel.
It took me 35 years to get justice, and he's going to be out after 6. I'm tired of fighting, and now I've got to fight to keep him in prison, and I've fought all that long to get him in there. It's just horrible feeling.
Sarah, briefly, if you would, I mean, it is astonishing. Your perpetrators were only sentenced one less than a year ago and the other only in February, yet they could be eligible for early release.
It's madness. It took me 11 years to get it to court, to prove in court that these men did do what they did. Omari got 19 years and Hussein got 20 years. And now I'm being told that one might only serve 5 and one might only serve 6. Where's the justice in that? If I'd have known this was going to be the circumstances, I'd have saved all that trauma that I had to relive over and over again.
I mean, exactly on that point, this is a government who have said violence against women and girls is one of their priorities.
It's not.
Pledged to halve it by 2030. What does this do to your sense of that pledge now?
They made a mockery of it. If they carry on with this, they're just going to get so many more victims and more lives ruined, and the streets will be a very dangerous, horrible place to be.
When your perpetrator was convicted, the police said, you know, this is evidence you can report a sexual assault or rape that happened at any time to us, even if it was months, years or decades ago. We take every report seriously. How does this work with that?
I don't think I would have put myself through that trauma. I've had to relive everything. My family were none the wiser. They didn't know anything. And now I've had to break them and break their hearts by trying to fight justice.
Carol, tell me what you want government to do. What is your really direct message? Andy Burnham will become Prime Minister next week. What is your direct message?
I've got a big fat no to Andy Burnham.
Same.
And I could say more, but I'm not going to.
Would you like to see him pick it up in his first few days?
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight away.
When I opened my letter, the first thing that came to my mind was like, no, 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 this is not happening. And we couldn't say no when we were children.
No.
We had no choice. So, and now we are adults, we can say no, and this is a big fat no from me. There's no way this can happen.
Jade, Carol and Sarah, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, in a statement, the Ministry of Justice said this government is fixing the prison crisis it inherited, building 14,000 more prison places and reforming sentencing so we can always lock up dangerous criminals. Without this decisive action, prisons will run out of space entirely as early as November. Public safety and supporting victims is our top priority. Offenders who a judge has deemed the most dangerous are automatically blocked from early release, and prisoners who behave badly while behind bars face being locked up for longer. We are also launching the biggest expansion of tagging in history and rolling out tough new restriction zones to block offender movements. Well, if you've been affected by any of the issues in that discussion, you can seek help by going to channel4.com/support.